Hello everyone, welcome you all to Sri Lanka Spotlight. This is a special program by Technobase focusing on the Sri Lanka. And the object of Sri Lanka Spotlight is promoting and disseminating Sri Lanka expertise and innovations to local and the global community. And today's episode, we are focusing on advanced e-textiles and circular economy. This is an important subject and an innovation from the Sri Lanka. And our invited guest is Dr. Anura Rathnayake. He's the chairman and founder of the E-Textiles group based in UK. And also we have other guest, Mrs. Allison Jose. She's a co-founder and CEO of the E-Textiles CS based in Australia. And also she's also the CEO of the Circular Center Private Limited. So it's a pleasure to have both of them in this Sri Lanka Spotlight program, and we get to know more about their journey or what is all about this advanced e-textiles. We also, some people call it sustainable textile or smart textiles, and how it impacts in society, environment, in its involvement in the circular economy. So first I invite Dr. Anura Rathnayake to give a presentation on the his company and also his journey briefly. So let's invite Dr. Anura.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having your time today with us to discuss this disruptive technology. My name Anura Rathnayake. It's a short person is Anu. So I'm our company based in UK at E-Textiles Group. So today we will discuss about what is e-textile and the application example RFID thread. So my background is I'm a textile engineer from Moratuwa University, Sri Lanka. So then I have been living in UK last 20 years. So I did my master in advanced textile and also I did my PhD in smart textile, which is electronic textile. So that my area, we are working with like a dust particle microelectronics integrating into textile yarn. So then that yarn, we call it smart yarn, can use to make smart textile or electronic textile. So today, so we are going to discuss example of smart textile, which is RFID thread. I'm going to go through this presentation. Before we start RFID technology, I will explain you briefly about the technology. So you are familiar with barcode. So can you see my barcode? Can you see my barcode?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So this is a small line with the 12-digit numbers. So barcode, QR code, or RFID, all are doing communicating part, digital world to physical world. So when you scan, you communicate, digital to physical. So, physical to digital. So RFID barcode started 1951. It's quite old technology and still people use because it's cheap. But the problem is it is not very accurate and also take a lot of time when you deal with millions of items, because each and every item, when you go to supermarket, you have experience. So you go to the cashier, then the till operator, read each and every item, focus with the barcode scanner. So if you have 100 items, you have to read 100 times. So that's why it is very inefficient way. So then RFID technology actually started 1983. So RFID is radio frequency identification. So it is use radio waves. So therefore it's fully automatic. You don't have to focus. When you reach to scanners, can be 100 item or 1,000 item, or read within very within a second, very fast and fully accuracy is very high, and fully automatic. So I'll show you example of RFID tag. So when you open this, you will see a lot of metal here um, and microchip inside. So this normal RFID tag. So these kind of tag use garment industry 12.5 billion per year at the moment, but um, it's growing rapidly. You can see from this diagram. Um, uh, Globally, in total, they use around 40 billion tags, but it's growing rapidly because the technology um, very fast, and when you deal with millions of items. So traditional RFID tag like this. So there are a few other tags available in the market like this. So these they use a lot of metal, and those are not washable and is very weak. But I have invented this new disruptive technology, which is RFID thread. I believe you can see my thread. This is very flexible, very strong, and uh, give you additional lot of benefit compared to existing RFID tag. So, for example, like normal barcode or existing like normal conventional RFID tag, still like, for example, as I told you, barcode, they take time to read and not the accuracy high. And also after sale, you can use, so this all the metal straight after sale, 12.5 billion straight after sale going to landfill, which is really bad for the environment. And also it's not user friendly to wear like a chunky, like kind of like a label type RFID. It's not really usable to keep it in the garment. And also those are not washable. And so you cannot use for self checkout. So this tag anyone can remove easily, and also cannot use for recycling process. But when you talk about RFID thread, this is insert into a garment when you manufacturing, when you sew in the garment. So therefore, you can start from manufacturing. You can monitor entire production system, like how to real time. And also you can use for counterfeit, because this is integrated into a garment like a digital passport. It's like a DNA of the garment or the product. So, and also return management also is easy with integrated thread. And also this is invisible, and it's therefore it's very user friendly to wear, and it's washable. Therefore, consumers also can use for many other applications like machine, um, washing machine, or smart wardrobe, uh, and also uh, after this, use consumer when they're going to recycling centers, you can use. I will explain you in a minute about that. And also you implement fully automated system for uh, recycling. So like when you talk about the fashion industry, the global fashion industry is the second largest polluting industry in the world, because we produce more than 150 billion articles of textile each year. More than 9,000 end up in landfill, because one of the major bottleneck is sorting. So you can see all different type of garment mixed with polyester, wool, cotton, and different color, different type of garment, all and come to the recycling centers. So then manually people sort them. So then that process is not really accurate and a very expensive process. With RFID thread, it's designed and integrate into a garment to be in the garment as a digital passport to the entire life cycle. So about recycling, everything my colleagues Allison explain more than me, because he got a lot of experience about recycling. So we have done actually big thanks to Global Change Award. We were one of the best innovators in the world 2017. So then major brand approached us We have done very successful pilot with them. Yeah, as I said, this Global Change Award we won, and so talk and launch winner as also plug and play winner. So we have experienced team in the UK. So we are going to scale up soon, and also we are going to implement for other product as well, like example tire and stickers and all other type of garment product as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aruna. Anu is a short name, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Take over the screen. I'm going to show you some videos about this RFID technology, RFID thread, and also the feedback from the customer, one after other. I'm going to screen the two videos. Yes.
It is estimated that across the world 150 billion articles of clothing are produced every year. However, the textile industry has one of the poorest recycling rates of any reusable materials, with only 15% being recycled or reused. The rest going to landfill or incineration. Therefore, the clothing industry has a huge and lasting impact on our environment. One of the biggest barriers to efficient recycling and reuse of clothing is to identify the material content of the clothes. This makes it very difficult and uneconomic for clothing recyclers to break up and separate used clothing items into their different fibre components for reuse and recycling. To bridge this communication gap between manufacturers and recyclers, Dr. Anura Rathnayake, founder and chairman of Aditex, invented a globally patented digital thread that can be integrated into garments to store all the information needed for the automatic recycling of clothing. This can deliver significant reductions in the cost and time for sorting of garments by fibre components. The thread looks and feels like any other thread, but the RFID technology embedded within is used to store all the information needed digitally and can be scanned from a distance. The RFID thread can be inserted discreetly into any garment, is invisible to the consumer, and can withstand multiple washing cycles to provide a lifetime digital passport for the garment. The thread can unlock the transition to a circular system in which the materials can be perpetually recycled and reused. RFID thread has received several international sustainability awards, including Global Change Award by H&M. Successful trials have been completed with major fashion retailers such as H&M, Decathlon, PVH, Tommy Hilfiger and Ansell. Subject to securing the necessary funding, it is envisioned that Aditex is capable of scaling up its operations to make a transformative and lasting positive environmental impact in the fashion industry worldwide.
Hi, my name is Jeff Katzoff. I head up the RFID technology for Tommy Hilfiger. This morning here in our Bergen location, we just completed testing of the new thread technology. The first test that we did is receiving, and the threads were accurately able to be distinguished from the existing EPCs within the store, and we validated that through the reporting system. Next, we performed the cycle count to validate that with all the other EPCs in the environment, that those tags would also register, and we did get a full capture on the full 228 units from our initial cycle count. From there, we did scalable testing from a relocation zone movement with both a handheld device and our fixed infrastructure, and validated as well in the reporting tool that inventory movement was reporting accurately. Next, while we were on the sales floor, we did testing with our new Harmony security unit, and those tags actively set off the alarm and fed into the loss reporting. And then the last test that we did is we actually sold some of the items with thread, validated that they did feed into the sales report, and then we attempted a theft event with sold product and unsold product with that thread technology, and we did validate that all the items that were sold and unsold did register at our exit Harmony unit, but however, the Harmony unit was able to isolate the items that were stolen and differentiate them from the thread items that were sold. So from the testing that we did with the thread this morning here in Bergen, I can say they are on par with the performance of our existing GB3, U-Code 8 sewn-in and integrated sticker tags, as well as our integrated sticker GB4 and eyewear tags as well. Thank you.
Okay, now I invite Mrs. Allison Jones. She's a co-founder and CEO of the Editex CS based in Australia, and also she's the CEO of the Circular Center to give her her version of the sustainable textiles, and also she's actively involved in the circular economy of the textile industry. So let's invite Allison to give a short presentation first.
Hello, my name is Allison Jones. I'm coming to you from Sydney, that is known as the Gadigal land from the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to the past, present, and emerging First Nations people of Australia. And it's actually quite pertinent to greet everybody in Australia that way, because it really does help remind us about the big picture of why we are doing what we are putting in place in regards to circular economy. In fact, the third principle of the circular economy is to actually look after our environment and to promote biodiversity. So I wanted to share this schematic, and I do know that it does look a little complicated, but in relation to imagining a thread that is actually in a garment, whether it be footwear or uniforms or fashion, and that can be put into the garment at stage one with the brands and the manufacturing. So when it's actually put in at the same time as the garment label, although we do like to call it a smart swing tag. So it actually really is replicating that information that you would generally put onto a swing tag in regards to your certification, etc. So, but it's connecting everything from the get-go in regards to transport, warehousing, and connected to the supply chain management system, and then all the way through to retail and when it's actually sold and the distribution. So then it goes on to stage two, as I said, where it's actually then becoming in the world with the connected to the customer. And the software that we've developed, which is called Circa, it's a cloud platform, and it will actually be switched off from that point, so no longer attached to supply chain management and then out there in the world. A lot of brands are connecting already to circularity, and so that takes us to stage three, where they can do take-backs, and that's actually primarily one of the main features for minimizing our waste and working with labels and brands to do that, is because it in fact is one of the biggest problems that they have. So this is solving that issue instantly. We do know that there are millions upon millions of garments that actually end up in landfill with swing tags on them already, and that's because it really is very problematic for the brand to automatically put it back into their supply chain management system. So this solution will be instantaneous for them. And then brands are also taking back so they can look after the repair and the resale, and also of course for rental as well, whether they be independent rental or a part of their own brand in-store solutions. And then we go to what is called the resource recovery sector. So that might be independent groups that are taking the garments because they are unwearable and unusable technically, according to maybe the customer, but brands are able to cut them apart and use those textiles in innovative ways. So that's more recycling. And again, the RFID thread itself is really very purposeful for this sector as well, because we can actually add the RFID thread at any point during the cycle. So it can easily have that data attached to it, even if it actually comes back as a garment through a charity, for example. So we know it's a garment that is actually going to stay in the system for quite some time. It's quality, so we do want to keep it with that information. And then that takes us to stage four, which is the secondary market. So that's like feedstock. And that's where, again, the RFID thread is really very needed in this market as we start looking to recycle, and we need to be able to trace the fiber and the chemical composition and identify what that is, so the products can actually go down appropriate circular streams because eventually they will become potentially fibre to fibre recycling, and we do need to be able to keep out forever chemicals from, say, baby clothes. So that's where it's going to be really impactful throughout the entire life cycle of a garment, but it's also collecting all of the data for its entire life. So that means that we're able to report for an LCA, companies for their ESGs, and give them the metrics that will enable them to actually make some changes, because we're also going to be able to tell what is the garment or the product's longevity. So that will help for them to actually make changes. So circular design, use circular design strategies, textiles and manufacturing to support longevity, and we'll be able to tell them at the end of their life how successful they have been. And in countries where they are bringing in product stewardship schemes that are related to making products and putting products into the market, would then be able to go back with accurate data to show just how much that actually cost in relation to the sorting and the transport and the recycling and the repurposing of those textiles. And that can go back to the brand themselves so they can take responsibility for that. So that's a quick snapshot of the circular economy solution that we're putting forward.
Super. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate this introduction on the circular solutions related to the textile industry. So please stay on. Let me invite our other participants on this panel discussion, as we will have a short discussion. Anura is on board, and also Dr. Sisira, please join us. Okay. Okay, guys. First of all, thank you very much, for giving introduction about RFID. I want for people to understand RFID, radio frequency identification. That is what RFID means. RFID thread is the one. Can you show the Anura your nice thread? Yeah. Okay.
I have one here. We both have one.
Yeah. So it looks very simple, small. I mean, a small thread that going to change the world of textile technology. Yeah. Right.
Well, the thread itself is 10 centimeters, but it's the tag that Anu has embedded into, which you can barely see. It's this tiny little RFID thread there. So, but it's encased in metal and then plastic and it comes in different widths. But I will let Anu explain that.
Yes, so, I mean, compared to this traditional RFID tag, all the metal. So this thread actually we use less than 1% metal. So this is all 12.5 billion tag straight after sale going to landfill. This is not going to landfill even less than 1%. It's going to straight cycle.
So it's a total disruptive technology, man. Yeah. Okay. So you're replacing the traditional approach of putting the tags and like that. Yeah. How long is the length you need to put? Is it 10 centimeters? That is a fixed length you have to minimum at least. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like to get the optimum reading distance. So this is the length. But if you reduce, or you can also read, then you will reduce the reading distance.
So this thread makes a difference to the world of textile industry. It can help a lot in terms, of course, particularly in the recycling side. I think as Allison is talking about recycling, so sorting is a big deal, right? When it's a difficult to sort, and you say 60 or 70% goes into landfills because of sorting problem, right? So it makes a big difference, and also that inventory management and other things that really helpful technology. Super. And currently, I think you already mentioned about various companies utilizing this technology, right? And how is the feedback? What's like?
Yes, they really love our product. So whoever see this, they really interest. Only the problem is the price and volume. So that's why we are really working on that, increase the volume to meet the customer requirement and at right price.
Allison, you are already, I think, you did some experiment with certain customer or some designer, right? With this thread, yeah?
Yes, well, I can give you some feedback from the weekend where I met with a designer, and he actually called it the Golden Chalice.
Oh,
But how I originally met Anu was actually when I reached out to Dr. Christopher Hurren at Deakin University, and he was a fellow winner with Anura at the H&M Global Change Award. And I said to him, we really need to be able to identify who made the product and its fiber and chemical composition. And do you have any ideas? And he said, I certainly do. And he has actually gone on to call this the game changer for the circular economy. And can I say one of the reasons why it's also, and it's not so obvious that it's a game changer, is that this thread is able to be read in the thousands all at once. Now, anything that's in the market at the moment that it stays into a garment that people think that might be good for communication with the customer, which we can do that as well, that's, you know, B2C, but really where the impact is going to be felt is where it's B2B. So that's enabling the brands to be able to do automatic, fast, in the thousands, sorting and understanding of their supply chain, bringing it, sending it out, bringing it back. And again, when that reaches a recycling center. So I actually did a project that was funded by the New South Wales government for EPA, and I created a circular textile waste service. So that's where I was able to see what is the problem, and so how this RFID thread actually solves that problem, because we'd be able to arm those enterprises and charities with scanners to be able to pick up that information in the thousands, but also to sort quickly. So maybe through fixed systems, and so it's semi-automated and then automated, and that really is where we're going to be able to go to scale, because realistically there is a lot of waste that is ending up in landfill, and we need to capture that quickly.
Yeah, and also Allison is trying to, working on RM Williams brand to implement this soon.
okay. So, a little backwards, Anura, you are a scientist, right? You did in textile technology, your bachelor degree, then you did your PhD in the sustainable or smart textiles. Right? So it's wonderful that your research work has become a business model for you. Yeah, how you feel about it? Yeah. I mean, you set an example for many other PhD students. You know, a lot of times people do the PhD, but they do invent something and market, commercialize it. I think it's absolutely incredible to see your journey. Can you talk about how it happened?
Yeah, that's good point, Peram. Thanks for asking that good question. Actually, after my engineering degree, I worked for Mass Holding in Sri Lanka for 2 years. I was in working with manufacturing people. So always my mind is manufacturing environment. So after moved to UK. So I did my master in advanced textile, which is composite and nano composite. So after that, I went to again back to industry, work as R&D engineer. I was in the inside machine, running around, working hard and learning everything with manufacturing team. So then I got a scholarship for this PhD. So then invent this new technology. But still, I am not academic person, to be honest. I am industrial person. I always want to go back to industry. So even my professor at university, he was really trying to keep me there, because I was good at R&D work. So he really tried best to keep me there. But I try and many times. Then finally, I asked him, Professor, I really need to go back to industry. So that's why I resign from job, and he asked me another 6 months. to stay there. So I gave him another 6 months. Then I resigned and set up this Aditex because I really want to do something, to the world and like real world in industry. So I'm an industrial guy.
Okay, you are industry guy, but you don't want stuck in the research
Yeah,
field forever. Yeah.
yeah, so that's why even I was when I was doing my PhD, I was thinking about solution for industry. So that's the mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you guys, Allison and you are connected? She's based in Australia. You did your PhD in UK and you're based in Sri Lanka and as well UK. So what is
Yeah.
collaboration and cooperation? How is all started?
Yeah, actually, I have been living in UK last 20 years. So then we won a Global Change Award from H&M Foundation in Sweden. So they select the best 5 innovation in the world every year. So we were one of best 5 in 2017. So in there were one team, one of the best 5 from Australia. So the one member is Chris. He's a Dr. Christopher. Yeah. So he working in Australian university. So they also have really good technology. So then he knew this technology has a real potential. So then as Allison mentioned, when Allison asking him a solution, he straightway he has told her, yes, I got a solution, and he introduced to me Allison. That's the journey started in Australia. Allison,
So
you want to
Alice,
add something?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like finding a needle in a haystack, quite frankly. And it was, I think, a bit of a miracle for me to have reached out to Chris at Deakin University and say, I've been creating this circular textile waste service, and we're working with a team of disability enterprise who were just remarkable in their attention to detail as we are sorting out clothing that has actually come from one of Australia's or Sydney's largest councils. They wanted to do a pilot and see if they could work and offer their residents an opportunity to keep their clothing out of the garbage bin. So this particular company that they brought in, they would actually pick up, so it's an app system, the residents would reach out and say, we've got our product and it's sitting on our front doorstep, and they would pick it up, they would sort out the good from the unwearables and unusables, as we call them. And we took the unwearables and the unusables, the good stuff was sent to charity, as we really need to promote to do that here, because it is the charities who are taking the good items and selling them, and then being able to provide the fantastic assistance that they do throughout the community. So, but we really wanted to divert from the garbage bin. And so when we had our disability enterprise teams really trying to read the label, the pile of what we called, we don't know, we had a fun name for it as we were sorting through it. It's the everything else pile. So it's really what we don't know, and also the mixed blends, the things that is too hard to solve at the moment. So we had all of that, and that was literally, I would say, 80%. The rest, we could determine that it was wool and linen and leather and silk, for example. Those are easy to do, but it was the rest that was actually impossible to do. So I really was looking for a needle in a haystack, and Chris put me on to the RFID thread, and I was like, genius, absolutely genius. It stays with the garment, and then we add a circular economy to that, and then we can continue its journey.
Fantastic. So you see, miracle do happen, yeah, right?
It was.
Or magic happens. So it's a perfect solution for all this, particularly the environmental issues that textile waste creates. As you said, it is the second largest amount of waste is created around the world, right? So
it is a worldwide problem that everyone needs to join together and look at it from that perspective. And so Anu has also done that by bringing on board people from all around the world to be able to add our own perspective, including our CTO, who is he's actually based in New York, and Sanjay was the software development person for Ralph Lauren for 7 years. So he certainly knows the supply chain management system, and also, you know, just the understanding of the waste that is coming out the other end. So, you know, he's been instrumental in us being able to put all that together on a cloud-based platform.
Super, super. So, Anu, now it's a group, right? You know, you start in the UK, and I understand you expanded to different locations. So can you talk about I call it adventure as an entrepreneur, where the researcher turned into entrepreneur, and innovation converted into commercial solution, you know, a worldwide solution, I mean, global solution for the industry. Can you talk about how your presence in other parts of the world?
Yeah, sure, Param. So our headquarters based in UK, Nottingham, Architects ID or RFID technology. So then we have a branch in Sri Lanka for manufacturing this thread. So we have developed the new machine, so the brand new machine. So you cannot find anywhere in the world at the moment this machine. We spent like 2-3 years to develop this machine, to develop this to produce this thread. So the manufacturing unit based in Sri Lanka. So then, yes, we have branch in Australia to connect global supply chain through this digital platform. So because nowadays, you know, globally, every entire supply chain, they have separate software solution. Like manufacturer have their internal software solution, warehouse separate, and retailer and all have separate. Then as a consumer, like for example, when they want to use for a smart washing machine or smart wardrobe, even recyclers or charity, so they don't have access to data. So that's why we gather all the global supply chain into one common cloud platform technology. So that software solution we are developing in Australia. As Allison mentioned, we have a really global team, CTO based in New York, one of my friends. So yeah, so it's and also we have a branch in Spain as well. So in future we are going to, you know, open another few branches globally to scale up further.
Yeah. So Dr. Sisira, you like to ask some issues? You is a fellow Sri Lankan, and happy to know that he developed a customized machine and the factory is in Sri Lanka, right? Okay, so I'm definitely proud about it. Me too. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
please.
Hi Bowan, and thank you very much, Peram, giving this opportunity. First of all, I would like to thanks Dr. Anura Rathnayake and Allison joining from all the way from the Australia, because very important as Sri Lankan, and I'm so proud that like Dr. Anu is joining this very interesting disruptive innovation. Because very important part is, as Peram you clearly mentioned, so we have a lot of basically people who are having a lot of theses and research, but we also coming from the industry, and what is most important, basically the industrialization or commercialization of any idea, basically putting in the ground floor and taking the impact to the business. In that aspect, I think also I should mention the Mr. Upali Herath, who basically introduced Dr. Anura during his short visit to Sri Lanka. He is my first boss at Law Star during that period. Today is the world largest mutual in Lanka. So basically with that we started this conversation with Dr. Anura, and I think with very short period, basically I was impressed with his innovation, and that is why we thought to basically take like the innovation, the commercialization of this project to the Sri Lanka Technobiz program, which is the main objective of this program. So with that, I will just raise some kind of concern. You see, as Sri Lanka, we are having, you know, with this global recession, and also as a country, we are having a lot of issues with the people are talking with the dollars. So we are lack of dollars. So how best you can contribute with this your innovation to the I know you are now global player. I know you have all this with your product is globalized, but in Sri Lankan context, so what will be your plan, and can you just explain how basically we change our young technologies mindset and come up with a few more this nature innovatives, and how best we can contribute this technology to, as far as Sri Lankan economy is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sichira. Actually, we are planning to, as I said, scale up the production in Sri Lanka. So that means we can offer a lot of, we can generate a lot of new jobs, as well as we can generate a lot of foreign revenue to the Sri Lanka, and also other, with this, a lot of other business opportunities also will create through this platform technology, because this is the enabler to communicate physical world to digital world, like a smartphone. After smartphone, so there are a lot of platform started like Facebook and all everything started after smartphone. So likewise, once we digitally connected entire global supply chain and gather all the data, so then a lot of like example. We can implement automated system for manufacturing in garment industry, so to monitor real time. For that, need hardware software solution. That means new business, new opportunities for Sri Lankan other companies, digital companies. Yeah. So smart washing machine. So that's another new business for new technology companies. So likewise, there are a lot of business will create after implementing. Yeah, as you said, thanks to Mr. Pali, Mr. Pali here, he introduced to Dr. Sichira. So because this thread is a connection with metal beam, so therefore it stand to high pressure and also high temperature. So therefore, actually, even we can implement for tire as well, because like normal tag you can't, so it will destroy. But this thread we can implement. So we are working on that. So we can share new news soon. Very positive news after implement this tire. So it will be really good opportunity for that industry as well. So then they can monitor production and the traceability and all the current other problems they can solve, because as Dr. Sichira told me, so when you use it like a sticker type, those can remove, it can remove by itself, or like a sticker mark, so all problem. So there's no traceability after some time. So this thread, once you integrate, it's inside the tire as a DNA. So that means no one can remove it. So that means counterfeit and all other issues you can eliminate. So we are excited to complete that pilot project at GRI with Dr. Sichira's team soon.
So
Yeah,
you have
thank you very
more
much.
solutions. Yeah, more solutions. Not only the textile industry. Yeah, wherever thread can be. So it's may I know what is made of that thread? Is a metal?
Yeah, it's combined. Actually, the knowledge combined with my 3 degrees. So the first degree is textile engineering. Apply. This is a part of textile operation happening, and also my master was composites and nano composites. So this is a composites multi-layer coating matrix. So that knowledge came from my master, and my PhD actually integrate dust like a dust particle micro sensors into textile yarn. So that's all. Even a small piece, it is give all my knowledge into this small piece.
Oh man, you say your bachelor degree, master's degree, and PhD all combined together, it become one piece of thread, and that is a solution for the world. That's nice. I just want to add. Maybe I will let me ask some connecting questions. You talked about various brands are coming forward to work with you. Probably there are many not famous brands, but they're very in our part of the world, in Sri Lanka or India or in China, even this small scale retailers, are they able to utilize this technology too? Is it
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Actually, this software solution developing in Australia, actually we are going to offer them free at least 2 years. So that's why we are going to find investor to invest to offer free for next 2 years to offer everyone. So then we might continue free, or we might charge a little, prescription.
And most of these retailers, they do have certain their own system, maybe some for retail inventory management, and they already have some softwares out there. How is it easy to integrate with the existing system with your this RFID thread technology?
Yeah, we use blockchain technology just to to integrate with the existing technology as it is. They don't have to change anything. All as it is they can use, but all what we are doing just contact hybrid together with our solution to pass the data to our blockchain based cloud platform. So it will be easy, a few click, then all the data come to our system. So then everyone have access to the data. It's not personal data, by the way, so no privacy issues, only the garment information.
Yeah, that I'm going to ask you. Nowadays, you have the data protection and thing. You put some kind of smart electronics in my shirt. What it is going to be? Yeah, whether it is going to find me in my location or what? Yeah, it's basically going to check the data of the material, right? Mostly the material. Yeah, and probably
this only contains 24-digit number. That's all, nothing else. So that the remaining all the data we store in our database. So no one have access to that data, freely. So only we give them access to garment information, like fiber type, garment type, that kind of whatever information, not the human information, like personal information. And we cannot actually track like a GPS. So this is a passive tag.
So we've thought about it from the perspective, as I said, of both business to business and business to consumer, and they are actually separate. And that's the reason why the RFID thread is actually so crucial, that it can only be scanned by commercial scanners. So we haven't gone, so it will do the bulk scanning, but it also isn't intended and will not be able to be scanned by the individual. We're only interested in the information about the garment themselves, but where the customer can have a relationship with it is that each thread through the Circ app actually will have its own unique number, ID number. It will also have a QR code that the brand will be able to print, download that and print that onto a garment swing tag. So that's when the customer can have their relationship with it and scan that and see where it comes from and all the details that generally they don't want to know. They will want to know who made it, what fiber it is, where it's come from, any certification. All of that transparency is really important, and becoming more so to customers, so that they know that they're actually supporting brands doing the right thing, but they're also trying to not purchase any textiles that are actually going to be causing harm to people and planet. So they'll be able to get all that information, but the crucial part is that, it takes devices like this to be able to scan it. So if we think about it from the perspective of Sri Lanka, is that each region will have that information in its own cloud. So we feel for security, it's really important that each country and region has its own cloud. So all of that data is actually stored there. And then additionally, as I said, it's switched off from the supply chain management system, but that will enable any charity or small company. So this is Sanjeev, our CTO, has also developed this in regards to an amazing device. So using an Android and this is an RFID scanner that is just like this, but it's just a lot cheaper. and a lot more accessible. So that means any small brand would be able to add the data using this as a combination, and then also collect the data once they are actually taking it back. And then we know the date, the location, and the location will just be the city, the area, because all we're wanting to do is actually collect the footprint from, you know, general geography. And then we'll be able to also understand the date that it came in and the date that it came out. I think rental is a really great example of being able to understand how products come in and come out again. But this is a really cost-effective solution that will engage the small brands and the charities to be able to use that information, because they'll be picking up the data on behalf of the brands. So they'll actually will be assisting and hopefully getting some support for actually doing that, because they're helping the entire system solution together. So it is about feeding money back to the system, so it's forward and backwards, because we'll be able to know how long products are lasting, and then the companies, the brands who are manufacturing it, they take responsibility for its entire life cycle, and they're going to there's also the opportunity for them to continue to make money, because it is the product that they actually invested a lot in from the beginning of using, as I said, textiles and manufacturing for longevity. So they could also continue to make money because they have invested in these resources in the first place.
And you know, this I want to ask you, this thread, when they put into the garment, is it easy? Easy to stitch it, or is there certain locations you have to stitch it, or what is it like?
You know, that video, if you watch that video, you will see how we insert into Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt. Like, I'll show you few example. So we actually we went to India to insert this 5,000 thread into 5,000 Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt. They introduced the black collar while they are sewing. So there's no any other additional operation. So in the collar, when you're going to cross that the open, so then insert and just sewing. And also you can put into a hem or side seam or wherever you find small, you know, something. No need additional operation. And also we have done Answer, like your Australian brand, Answer Cloud. So we use a different technique, heat sleeve technique to insert like this. So then we don't feel it at all. And also like small, like even small like underwear. So we can put into a waistband. So then you don't feel, don't need any chunky label, everything inside, you don't feel it. And even like, excuse me, Allison. So this is another example of, you know, a small garment. So this is also, you can insert into a corner at any edge. So then you don't feel at all. No need any label, anything. You know, it's very simple.
So very
it
easy.
Folds up very, very tiny.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely pliable. So it has the ability to, and what's really important about that is if the garment has already been made, it's still stiff enough to be able to open a seam and just slide it straight in. So I think that's actually really is where it really has the capacity to engage existing garments instantly, and also then manufacturing from new as well.
So it's suitable for every level of you know, garment manufacturers, whether it is small or big. You know, you can utilize this one. Yeah. And in terms of the business model, you supply the thread, you also supply the software solution as well, right? And also the your scanner. Are you supplying the scanner also?
No, we have partners, so we can if somebody need you know, scanner software solution, we can supply complete package to our partners. If somebody already have existing hardware software, this thread is just used as it is, plug and play. No need to change any existing hardware software.
Because it actually acts as a bridge to other people's software. So that's how it's actually connected. And the mention before of blockchain, we will limit that, and that will be an optional extra for brands to be able to use, because blockchain, if you put too many points on there, it actually will continue for its lifetime to use electricity. So it needs energy. So we really don't want to be able to, add too many points of blockchain, because the important thing is that this device doesn't require any more energy. It doesn't. It does the job for you, and so it won't need anything existing to attach to that. It's perfect as it is, I should say. But the interesting thing to also point out is that currently we're seeing big brands, as Anu was saying, that we've been able to do some pilots with. But the real big picture of where we're going to make the biggest impact is in order to engage every single brand, whether it be from a student right to the international brand. And so that's where Sri Lanka's capability for doing bulk manufacturing and to have governments and philanthropists and investors come together to actually underwrite a bulk production. So that means it's like with textiles. You need to order what is the mill's maximum, and by doing that, you're actually not only reducing costs, but it's the most effective. It's most cost effective, but it's also the most effective way that you're actually going to minimize your environmental footprint by doing a bulk production. And so to do that with the threads means that we're lowering the price point and then being able to offer the exact same price to everybody, and then we connect everybody faster.
Super. Sisira, would like to add?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I think what I understood, basically the smaller this thread is easy to use, and we can overcome a lot of basically the constraint when you are applying in manufacturing process. Other thing is what I understood, the unique feature is we can have the connecting the physical world to the virtual world, because I think this is the unique feature. So can you further elaborate on, say, I think as a entire world is towards sustainability, and now we are focusing on carbon neutral and all, with that in the designing stage, how best if we want to include some of, say, the data or features into this electronic, we call the gadget, and then how that can be basically used for that information mainly in the manufacturing process and communicate to the customers and basically link in the entire global value chain.
Shall I take that?
Yeah.
We've been working really hard on the development of the software in order to capture all of that data of the entire life cycle. That is actually the one part of this global industry that is actually lacking. There is not enough data. In Australia, we have actually been basing our new product stewardship system developed on data from the UK and data from France and America. So we really don't have enough information attached to be able to the garment, and that's what this will do. So it'll allow us to also be able to attach to the carbon footprint. So we'll know that it was manufactured in, the garment was, the cotton came from Sri Lanka or India, and then it was manufactured in that country, and then it was transported to another country. And so it'll be able to capture all of that transport piece. And I think that you point out rightly, that's actually really crucial, because transport and production are the two main aspects of this industry that is causing the carbon emissions, that is causing the climate crisis. So once we can start looking at and have accurate metrics of how far these garments have traveled, and also in a lot of countries, especially during COVID, you know, everyone's locked down and they went on their computers and they bought lots of things. And so then they returned them because they didn't fit. So having that data of actually how it goes out and back again, and that will be accurate to where it's actually transported to. And I think that once we need to look at countries like Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India, and Africa, South America, they're actually handling a lot of our so-called waste, but to actually engage them in this piece as well, because they're the people providing the solutions. A lot of these countries already have much better solutions in regards to the recycling of these materials. We have zero in Australia, absolutely zero. We have no capacity at the moment, and the government is looking at how do we do that? We start from scratch. But the thing is, we shouldn't really we don't need to start from scratch when we can collect the carbon emission footprint, and it actually is, for a country as large as Australia, it can be more cost effective and better for the environment to ship things to these other countries for them to actually use their existing manufacturing to do all the recycling. It can actually be cheaper and more cost effective and better for the environment. But you know what? We'll know per piece exactly what its footprint is. And then you can go back to the brand and say, your garment ended up in Sri Lanka. We actually took the thread, you scanned it, we took the thread. Now, from the beginning to its end, the carbon emissions might only end up being $1, $2. It actually is really quite cost effective. I'll give you an example. I asked a carbon footprint company to calculate for me what will be the carbon emissions for a pair of men's jeans coming from China to Australia. The reason why I wanted to do that is because that's the most most resource intensive product that I know. So it took a lot of cotton to manufacture it in the first place and then shipping it over. So that ended up being just over $1, Australian $1. So if you actually add that to the cost of the garment and you send that back to the, even to the customer and say, would you like to sequester this? So maybe they would pay $1.50 because that's based on an estimate. And what they're actually doing is paying a little bit more to sequester what we do know was used in that whole transport piece, the manufacturing, transport, etc. But going just that little bit extra of a few cents will make a big impact, because the to sequester, like through trees or seaweed or soil, for example, will bring down more of the carbon emissions that have not only been used but are existing in the environment at the moment, helping to contribute to the climate crisis. So once we redistribute the ask, shall we say, so we want you to only pay a few cents here to deal with the waste, a few cents here to sequester, and then it's back to the individual. Then I am saying, look, I actually do want to take some responsibility. I'm going to pay $1.50 and I'm going to bring down that carbon emission from this garment, and then we have that holistic relationship as well. And then it's not, you know, we're sharing the responsibility. It's not always going to be on the government to actually solve all of our problems, where as a community we all share in that responsibility.
Yeah, I think thank you very much. I give very comprehensive answer for that. I think it will benefit entire world, and especially the the people who are listening and the audience also. Next, I would like to just switch into the because now we discuss a lot on the textile or garment industry. You know, Sri Lanka, I think we are the number one is coming from the garment industry, but you know, rubber industry or the polymer, the rubber and the plastic industry is so very vital, because we are just now more than 1 billion and huge potential of getting this our industry or Sri Lankan rubber industry to the about 10 billion. So with that scenario, we as a country, we are facing a lot of issues, mainly the use of the plastic. One is the communication issues with the people. They think plastic is basically, polluting, but no, the people like we who use the plastics due to lack of awareness, even I think there's a misunderstanding in the authorities also. With that, we get some constraint, basically giving the value addition to the plastic industry. So my next question, how best this technology can be used basically to avoid pollution, especially in the plastic, and also say the rubbers and all this product, the new the REACH compliance certification are there. Segregation is a very big challenging for us. So how best this technology basically help us to basically overcome these issues? Thank you.
I think again, Allison may have a good answer for that.
Well, look, it's exciting that you think about this thread from a many product perspective, because we haven't mentioned mattresses and interiors and homewares. All of those products have a lot of plastics involved in them that can also be used in a lot of different streams. So we are talking about plastics being involved in majority of garments and products that we are actually talking about here, whether it be mattresses, but also going to the tires. It certainly will be, Anura is talking about it, the thread being thicker, so it's physically thicker. And because, as I said, to have that bulk production, we bring that price down. So you can imagine only a few cents adding an RFID thread to the tire industry. So therefore, each tire is able to be tracked and traced itself throughout a system. At the moment, I know Anu is working very hard to have its capacity extend beyond the retail. So when it's actually, as we say, when the rubber hits the road, so that will be exciting to see that kind of development that he's doing at the moment in Sri Lanka. But yeah, just think of the various different types of products, toys, homewares, as I said, mattresses. There's a lot of different industries that will be able to have this impact.
Dr. Cicera, can you give us the parameters, like what is the load you apply and what is the temperature roughly, to get idea for audience? So, because some people doesn't know.
Yeah, mainly I think if you take the tire industry, what is most important is basically get the all this the data into the one platform. And application wide, just solid tires, if you talk, as you know, Sri Lanka, 40% tires goes from Sri Lanka to the world. So mainly the application, the speed is low, maybe 25 kilometers per hour. But when these solid tires are subject to the load, so you get the heat generation. In general, polymer or a rubber fairly start with the thermal. So what is most important, if you can have some mechanism where we can identify the heat generation inside while it is applied in wherever forklift or maybe the agriculture application. So to prevent that failures, one is a challenge area. So the pneumatic, of course, is mainly it should be withstand to the air, and also the speed is very high. With that, the heat generation and all this is very high. So these are some challenges as far as the rubber industry is concerned. But plastic industries mainly here. We do a lot of molded product where we are doing injection molding inside the machine. So if you want to insert some kind of this thread, that will be another area that we can look into.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So like, those high temperature involvement, this thread actually withstand to high temperature and also the pressure. So therefore, we hope to apply those, product as well.
And also to mention that with RFID readers, they can be fixed systems in store, in warehousing, right through to, as Anu mentioned, to a washing machine or industrial laundry. So when you put in a reader at certain key points, that's actually going to read that data, and that's where we collect the data as the products move themselves. But again, it's only the commercial readers that can do that. We have no interest about, you know, the person itself, what they're doing. We're not interested in that at all. There is no connection, which is interesting because here, you know, that's why we want to really make sure that people understand it isn't that technology that is NFC. Like, for example, I use my iPhone to pay for my coffee every day. That's using NFC technology that is attached to my bank account. So that's where this is entirely different. And that's why we want to point out that it can only be read through the commercial readers and not your individual phone. That's for QR codes, but that can only be done one at a time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Peram. Over to you.
You're on.
Okay, very interesting discussion. I want to touch a little bit on the business plans for the Anura. So what's the future plans for the Editex? You know, the huge market, global market, and you see Allison, the passion involved, you know, utilizing this technology, solving circular solutions, particularly circular, you know, giving a circular solution for the textile industry. I see the huge potential for your business. What are your future plans? Are you looking for investors, or you know, planning expanding the current facility in Sri Lanka? Probably you may need some government help through Sisira is involved with, you know, various organizations. So can you talk about it? Your in the next 10 years or 5 years time, how do you want to see Editex, please?
Yeah, thank you, Peram. Yeah, so basically we done all the groundwork up to now. The patent has been globally granted, like example US, Europe, UK, even Australia, Sri Lanka. So the technology being developed and the machine has been developed. Now we are about to scale up. So actually we have done all the great pilot as well, prove the technology. So we are now about to scale up into a mass production. So yes, of course, we are having really good positive discussion with potential few partners to invest and scale up. So we are hoping to scale up very soon. Yeah, so yes, still we are looking new investors, potential investors, and also strategic partners. Of course, government support, and actually Allison also working with Australian government to support us in Australia. So yeah, so we cannot do alone this. We need a global support to get out into the global.
The system that we've put in place is really around the capacity to do the bulk production, which means that brands need a device like this, and if we produce bulk, then they will purchase those directly. But the people who can actually help facilitate to produce the bulk can be a government and philanthropists and investors. And we're just asking for them to actually underwrite that cost, because by underwriting your bulk production, you're then selling off what you need to the brands for only what they need. And then that money goes directly back to the government and the investors and the philanthropists. The exciting thing for them, however, is that we will require at every product that they actually give that acknowledgement, like a sponsorship, if you will, by saying this was facilitated by the government or this company or this philanthropist. So they actually, so it'll be really quite unprecedented promotion of a brand worldwide for anyone who jumps into that. And then it's 100% return.
Yeah, see that, yeah.
Yeah. Adding to that question, Peram, so we are selling small quantities for worldwide, US, Europe, UK, and even Sri Lanka. So we started we started manufacturing and selling at the moment, but yes, we need to scale up.
So you need investors to expand or scale up your productions to serve the global market. So I'm looking forward this technology to be spread around. Everybody use it with the smart material inside your shirt or in all the garments, all the wearables, you can say. And most importantly, that I think you're giving a better second life or third life to that if you have proper sorting, right? I think that makes huge difference. And you save the time of the recyclers, particularly. Recyclers also find it a very useful tool, quickly separating and utilizing whether it's how do you want to deal with the the textile waste, right?
To give you an exciting one of our first customers who we're just working through literally this week. We don't know the name of the pop star yet, but hopefully we will soon. But a company in Nashville is working with a pop star, and this pop star has costumes and wardrobe all around America. And so the thread being in every item, they'll know where it was made, but also who can mend that, and then what performance that it should go back into. And they can draw from that all around the country, and as the products actually all around the world. So where it's the perfect example of a person who's got too many clothes, but at least they'll be able to work out where they are in the world, and so they can be used again.
Oh yeah, I think the celebrities can really utilize it, particularly the singers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will publish that news in August. So addition to that, actually, I'll give you another example, Peram. Like school children uniform, security purpose is really huge problem, inside and when you in and out. And also you calculate how many manpower you lose every day, you get taking attendance every day. All the children and teachers maybe spend 5-10 minutes for manual attendance. Yeah. So if you calculate what manpower loss, but this one, it just automatic everything. It's all going to the digitally into the database. It's a fully auto, and it's really, and also uniform for army, and other workers. So it's another example I just gave you where you can apply this technology.
Actually, I had to a little bit decline with this kind of idea. When I was in schools, right? Teacher asked a name, Prashad, yes, ma'am. And sometime, even if I don't go to school, my friend say, yeah, with a different voice, we say yes, ma'am, to get attendance. It's a lot of fun, man. If they don't use this one, we don't really enjoy that school life. But you're very much correct that it really helps.
The security purpose. Like a month ago, something happened to my children. She has stuck in the toilet. She locked the toilet and stuck in the toilet, and maybe like half an hour she was in the toilet, and no one knows. So then later somebody has here. She was crying. That's so security purpose.
Oh yes, that's very much needed. We have these incidents like children sleep in the buses. The driver not check it out, and they on the hot sun. We have a tragic incidents also. I think definitely the school uniforms and for the attendance purpose really very useful. Yeah. Sisira, you want to say anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I want to take this session to another area. Like now we are in the AI tools and all this. And all the people would like to basically get the big data. And what is your strategy or the plan at the moment to connect this this technology with the other technologies like which is coming to meet the 4th or 5th industrial revolution?
Sorry. Alison,
I
you
think
want
if you're talking about data,
to take that?
the data at the end is really everything that you can basically sculpt it as you need. So to give you an example, there are, each country, each council, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation in the UK, all of these people are collecting a variation of data. So that can actually be really easily imported into the software to match with the software already. And then basically it's going to give you the metrics that you require. But, we need to then engage the specialists in that area who know about how to analyze and create the metrics to be able to get that back to the brands. And not every brand will actually want that, but that's the exciting thing, is that the brands who actually do want that, they've got a version of their data already. So this is really just giving that the data that is actually real-time data to be able to add to their already estimations, if we will. Really estimation won't get us there. We really do need this real-time data of the principal point of this also is to be able to have an understanding of the longevity of the garment. Think about it this way. You've got a brand who's going to a great deal of effort, or a mattress company, and they're designing their product based on circular design systems. So they're using 3D technology, they're using zero waste, they're ensuring that everything down to the thread is actually going to be purposeful and keep that product going for as long as possible. And then we'll be able to note when it was put out for repair, and then put out for rent, then put out for resale. And then by the time it gets to the secondary market for the feedstock, they'll be able to scan that and see, look, it's actually had this big life for 10 years. So let's reward that brand for actually making such a good product in the beginning. And then conversely, if a product ends up in the waste sector very quickly, then we'll be able to also determine, all right, well, it's cost this amount of money to transport it and sort and recycle. And then we actually do know who made it. And so therefore, potentially that skirt that they made for $5 now is going to cost $7 because it costs $2 to actually deal with the waste. And so therefore the next time that they might consider making a better garment, and we all benefit from that, through minimizing the waste and also the carbon emissions and the plastic pollution. So that's one way that we'll also be able to affect the change.
Thank you, Alison. Yeah, you are good at that thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So other area maybe just I want to raise on, like, the way we have this advanced technology, and then, the awareness and training of our engineers and basically the people who are really using. So what kind of basically your plan and how technologies can help in that scenario. Also the current softwares, maybe is it compatible, say the people already using in the industry. So what is the compatibility with the because the old system or conventional system, we have already data is inside that, how that can be basically take to this advanced technology.
Yeah, so basically we will, as I told you, we will give only the platform technology. So the existing people can use as it is. So, and also new software solution need to develop, like for example, when we implement RFID thread for the GRI tires, so then internal all the process management, either your IT team or third-party company need to develop to internal process management using RFID hardware software. So that software solution, maybe you can buy from third-party company who provide solution, or you can build yourself internally with your team. So even if you use third-party company to build this technology, but still you can use your existing any system as it is. Only just need adding the new capabilities to communicating RFID thread part through this hardware.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have talked a number of issues: business, environmental issues, circular economy, and also the future of Editex. I want to touch a little bit outside the Editex. I recognize and value Dr. Anura is a PhD student, become a scientist, and become an entrepreneur. What kind of advice you give it to the young researchers? How they can transform themselves, their contribution to the to make contribution to the country where they come from or wherever they're working there. At the end of the day, doing a PhD is one thing, and how you convert that research research developments for the development of the company. So can you give some advice to the younger people who are getting into doing a PhD?
Sure, Param. Yeah, so inventing something is not easy. You need to have very persistence and you need to contribute your time. So when I actually invent this in the beginning, even when you started, you are inventing actually something new to the world. Like when you do a PhD, you have to do something new to the world. No one has done before. That is PhD. So then you need to do all the research and exist in other things. Then you need to invent something new. It won't come overnight. So I remember when I came this technology, when I developed this, it took a lot of time and day and night. So basically, I was working day and night, 24/7. That means when I wake up in the middle of night, like 2 o'clock, still I'm thinking, that sometime even I'm sleeping, still in my dream, I'm working on this project. Some actually solution came from my dream because some you can't remember, but following day, some dream actually came new ideas as well, because that's that you need to focus that and you need to really work on that, because there are a lot of problems come, and you always feel to give up. So many number of time you wanted to give up because you frustrate, because sometimes it doesn't work at all. You try many things different way, still doesn't work. So then sometimes really frustrate. Sometimes you go for a beer and have a drink, and it's really nightmare sometimes. But once you find it, oh wow, that's great. You feel so much, energy, and you feel great yourself, and so much happy. But all your hard work, when you find something, it just gave you reward yourself, your self satisfaction, and you feel really happy yourself. So be prepared for that kind of life if you want to invent something new. But if you're doing everyday regular work, then it's different way of life. So you are doing everyday same thing. Some people are happy with that life, but someone like me, I always want to do something new. So the entrepreneur, so that is the life. So even like maybe like singers or songwriters, maybe they have also similar life, because they may go somewhere and think and write, and so maybe to come to a nice music, nice song, maybe they spend a lot of hours and hours to get that we enjoy. But we don't know behind the scenes hard work. All the hard work people don't realize, but that is the reality. But I am really, to be honest, I'm really enjoying doing innovation and new things. That is my part of life. I cannot live without innovation and R&D. That is my life. I don't like to do regular work like every day. Uh, yeah, so for young people who like to do research and be as an entrepreneur, you prepare for that. You are not in comfort zone. You need to prepare your mindset and never give up. I'm sure you will find at least how to fail. You may not get the result. At least if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you do this way, it doesn't going to work. That is the knowledge you at least learn. So it's not wasting you are not wasting time. You are generating your knowledge. Briefly.
It's
Daydreaming. Daydreaming is key.
and keep dreaming
Take
as
in
well.
lots of information, then daydream.
Yeah. And you must be passionate about what you're doing, right? Then yeah. So what I want to touch on is it's also important with advice. Your advisor also play a key role, right? If you're equally passionate with your journey, and he is a kind of inspiring and motivator, right? Can you talk about how your PhD work with your advisor? I'm sorry, I'm going outside a little bit about this the small textiles, because I'm looking at the future generation of Sri Lanka, because you are one of the best inspiration for the younger people to look up to. As a researcher, scientist, then can become an entrepreneur. I'm sure you are actually providing a great solution for the textile industry, and now you're also looking at other industries like tire and many others. So I want the more people to inspire from your journey. Yeah. So talk about your professor, and that is also key. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, this platform technology, not only RFID, we can apply for other industry like
Sure.
healthcare sector. So we are actually developing smart another thread to integrate into a garment to monitor your body temperature, like babies. Like up to 2 years, babies cannot regulate their body temperature. So therefore, it's very important to maintain their body temperature to grow their organ up to optimum level. So if you reduce the temperature is higher, that affect to growing organs at child up 2 years period, and also even for a lot of temperature related, a lot of death happening in the world. So therefore, we are developing a smart garment using smart thread. Wirelessly, you can monitor your baby's temperature real time. The baby can be anywhere in the world, in the nursery or home, but from your mobile, you can real time you can monitor. So that technology we are going to expand into other applications like early diabetic ulcer detection. So before you get ulcer, you can detect, and also breast cancer, we can detect early breast cancer, and also for yeah, the girls having problem with the period, to predict the date. So then we are working on that area to get a smart band to monitor exact date for period. Um, those are like sports science and also military. So that area also we are working on that smart technology with another team. So it's related to healthcare professionals. I'm working on that. But to be honest, these days I'm mainly focusing on RFID because it's a lot of potential opportunities. So and yeah, other lot of application we can apply this platform technology because the technology is to integrate any sensor to the yarn, composite yarn. So that sensor will give different application. So then future we can, like for fashion industry, we have been developing like a micro LED integrate into a textile yarn to get illuminated textile. So, and automotive industry also can use that to change the color, interior color, and all. So yeah, a lot of things will come, in future with this technology. Ultimately, this technology can use to make a garment as a computer. All the sensors we can integrate through the yarn or to make a garment as a computer, mini computer. So
Wow, so it's a lot of applications, a lot of applications on the real, real issues. You're talking about particularly healthcare and women and ladies issues, So I think a lot to do, a lot to offer. RFID thread. Is this thread you can only fix one color as a black or a variety of colors?
Any pigments you can use.
Anything? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Okay. I'm asking about your professor, man. Can you talk about your professor? Your PhD professor.
He wants to hear the dirt on the professor on your university days.
Yeah, university days. Yes.
Yeah. So what you want to know about my university?
I mean, because I see the change happened during your PhD time. Of course, you're talking about your bachelor in textile industry, master's in composites, and PhD in the real thing happened in your PhD time. Okay, it's important that you have a good advisor. Even you have an intention, you have the right people surrounded by surrounded you, and then they take you. The dream come true. You want to be entrepreneur. You always been an industry person. That's what you say, right? And for that, I'm talking about university support or academic support or professor support. How it like, not everybody has that kind of privilege. Somehow, because I have seen so many PhDs. I have seen so many scientists. They grow certain level. Okay, I want them to understand how to cross that boundaries, to be an entrepreneur. So talk about the environment there in your PhD. I'm not asking how you pass the exam. Okay, that is a different.
Yeah. So yeah. Actually, my research journey started from my first degree. So when I did my first degree, the final year project, where we actually starting a new development. So then when I actually start my first job in Sri Lanka after my first degree, still I develop new machine in the factory. Because example, some people they just do day-to-day job 8 to 5, then they go home. But me, I was in a boarding house, so then to go to early, no any motivation to go to early. So then what I did after my duties in the company, after 5 o'clock, I go to a garage. Um, Workshop. Yeah, then work with that guy and develop new thing using pneumatic technology I learned from university. So then I develop automated cutting machine and also automated sewing machine. Like some material we can do polyauto. So then I implement that. So then also I develop a new button making machine. So they do like manually, like one by one. But I using pneumatic system. I develop a fully automated machine to make fabric buttons. Yeah. So then all those done those work. So actually after that, so the factory manager changed. So the new manager came. He was like he started career from like a mechanic. So he was like hands-on skill guy. So he came to the factory, production floor. Then he saw the machine I developed. Then he asked who did this. Then he was really amazed, and he called me, come to my office. You are doing really good job. So then actually we got an opportunity to go to Singapore for exhibition. We got only three people for only 3 opportunities for the factory. Yeah. So then actually the plan was to go by factory manager, cutting manager, and maintenance manager. But factory manager said, Anura, you go, you take my opportunity because I know if you go there to the exhibition, I know you will do something new. So that's why he gave me his chance. So my outcome to the new people, always something you do, but the reward will come later. Maybe not immediate, but reward actually will come later. So to visit in Singapore was really helpful for me to go to UK. So when you apply first time visa, I got visa, no problem. So then after my master, again I work as a R&D engineer. So R&D is again R&D engineer is doing all research work in the factory. I invent a lot of new materials and yeah, a lot of story behind that. But take a lot of time to say this time. Maybe I'll say another time. So my journey always R&D. So then actually big thanks to Professor Tilak Dias, who was my supervisor at Nottingham Trent University. He gave me really good supervision, but I have really hands-on skill. So when we invent this technology at university, he had idea, but he didn't know how to do. But I have really good hands-on skills, so I spend all my time to develop this, and we, done really good technology at the end. So yeah, so my advice is not from PhD. You need to start from your even school time. I have done development like this kind of innovative things. So you need to start from the beginning. Then it all help when you go into a PhD level.
So actually, I think I put this way, man. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. I think you start in the university time, your first job itself, that you want to innovate. You want to find a alternative, a better solution for the problem that you experience. That is a motivation. That is inspiration to what you have been doing for the last many years. So great story. Great. It's nice to know. Then people, particularly the people give up very quickly. They keep complaining about it, but finding a solution is something that that leads to the innovation, that leads to the solution for real problems. Cool. Hey, Anu, it's really nice to know you, man. Really happy to know you and then learn about your journey. Yeah. Anything else, Dr. Sisira? We'll almost wrap it up our session. I know it's been longer than we expected. So, Sisira, please.
Yeah, I think Dr. Anura, I think your message to the researchers and the next generation engineers, I think very, very, very important. I do believe that developing our Nestle is vital. I think that's the lesson that basically all of who are basically watching this and the people who are especially going through this one is very important. The last question, but not least, other area that I want to quickly touch, especially like country developing like country like Sri Lanka, we see the understanding of the maybe the entrepreneurs, the business owners investing in the R&D and also investing on this breakthrough thinking is, I think, I feel as to be improved. So what is the message that you're going to give as like you clearly mentioned to the researchers and the students? So what is your message? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sisira. Actually, to be honest, I was, there was a program at Sirius TV that it called Heterata. So we from whole country we interview a new innovation ideas people. So I realized there are a lot of new young people, young generation have very good idea. Only the problem is the support is really, really low compared to any other country, like, for example, UK. UK government allocate billions of pounds every year to support for new startups, and the universities, they fund a lot of money for research centers and universities. So that's why many new innovation happening in there. So in as a country, Sri Lanka, I don't see that kind of good support from government. They don't have big budget for innovation, and also as a companies like private company also I think they have very low budget for R&D and new innovation. So they want quick solution. So maybe they invest some money, no result, then they give up. They disappoint. But if you do 100, maybe only you get one innovation, really commercial level. That technology will cover all the cost. So that the mindset need to implement in Sri Lanka for the government as well as the private sector. So they need to really invest. They need budget really good money for people, because there are so much people here, skilled people in Sri Lanka, who need support to go to next level.
Yeah, thank you. I think you are giving very clear message to the government as well as the business owners, entrepreneurs, because I think the coming innovation entrepreneurs is less than 3%. So if you want to basically have the transforming our today's current situation to the developed country, I think the only way is investing on the research and development. Thank you very much for that. You are the basic advice for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that I think that countries like Sri Lanka and India that I know well, and that I think that innovation, especially around recycling and the reuse of resources, I think those countries are really well placed with some very innovative thinking people already, because that is the nature, I think, that is already appearing in the homes and in businesses, that everyone wants to find solutions and are finding really creative solutions. So I think that to put some more support in for these people who already are finding resource recovery and recycling solutions, there's some real gems there, and I think that they really need some support. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, we need more Anuras in Sri Lanka, right, Sushila? Yeah. Man, it's
Exactly.
a great
That
work.
is why Mr. Anura is a real role model for all of us.
Yes, and keep doing and keep innovating. I think you won't stop. You do keep dreaming as well, daydreaming, as Allison says. Yeah. So, guys, it's wonderful to have a conversation with you both, Anura and Allison. It's a lot of learning for us, for all the audience. Appreciate the time, for the joining this session today on the Sri Lanka Spotlight. Any closing remarks before we wrap it up? Anura, you want to give any final remarks?
Oh, never give up.
Never give up. Super. Yeah.
And
Allison,
someday,
yeah, go on.
Thank you for having us. As I said, if we can help to spark some innovation in this area, that would be really exciting. We all need it, and we all need the collaboration to work together. So thank you for having us.
Thank you. Sushila, any final remarks?
Yeah, final remarks. I think the knowledge sharing and breakthrough thinking is the only way to get rid of this whole mess as Sri Lankan. So let us work towards that as a team. Thank you.
let me add 2 more words, Peram.
Sure.
So I did enjoy today your program. Actually, what we are doing is great for the Sri Lankan people. So thank you so much. This opportunity given us to discuss. We really enjoyed today with you, and also special thanks for Dr. Sisira as well. So we'll have another session at some point. Thank you so much.
Definitely. I'm looking for a longer conversation. Basically, TechnoBiz, we like to play the role of a positive catalyst to give a positive impact through our activities. That's why Dr. Sisira and me, initiated this Sri Lanka Spotlight to talk about success stories. Of course, the success story is not easy story. It's a long journey, hard journey. And I want the people to learn, and people like you is a good example, role models for the next generation, even the current generation. Sometimes, we talk about mindset, right? We need to change the mindset, whether it is recycling, or sustainability, or a circular economy. All these required a positive mentality and also the change in the mindset. Otherwise, we live in the same problems for a long time, and what you guys are doing is fantastic solutions for the, of course, you're doing on the textile industry, but what I learned from you through various other solutions, not just on the textile industry, but the healthcare industry, women issues, oh man, super. I wish you the great success, and we will talk once again some other time in the near future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the session today on the Sri Lanka Spotlight. I will talk about the advanced e-textiles and the circular economy with Dr. Anura Rathnayake and also Allison Jose. I believe you find this session is very useful to you. A lot of takeaways. So, as Anura said, never give up. And as Allison says, keep dreaming and daydreaming to work towards the, whatever the adventures you would like to do, whether it's research or creating new innovative products for your own family or for your own country or the world. So thank you all for joining this session today. Bye-bye for now. Sorry,